Hey guys, Desi here, and today I just want to go over recaps for September 22nd and go over the price action to see how you could have played it and what trades we did take. So, as you guys know, we had this little gap down at open, and then we're basically, we had a really sharp knife down, as you guys can see right here. Let me show real quick. As you guys see, 6 a.m. and all leading up to 6:30, we just started knifing down on the 5 minute chart, and we started bouncing from these levels down here. And I'm gonna go to the 1 minute because that is exactly how I played it. I look at the 1 minute mostly, and I'll show you guys how I got my entries. So, after this initial drop we had, on basically we're ranging between three zones. We're ranging between the zone at 37.52, 37.76, and then this 37.90 level, which I'll talk about later because that's the end of the day rally that we got. So, as you guys can see here, we bounced off my demand here into this supply here, and basically we're just chopping, chopping, chopping within this demand, and I'll tell you how I was able to capitalize on calls. So just for starters, I had something like this drawn out. I had my trend line here, and I had something like this drawn out. To this price action wasn't here yet, so it looked cleaner. And then I had this drawn out like this. So this is what I was talking about. I was posting this charts here on Twitter. I was like, this is just a pattern within a pattern. Usually when we have like a wedge here that we're just or like a channel here where we're just touching the bottom and top of it, leading into supply is usually a good place for rejection. So as you guys can see here, we rejected here into this little channel within the channel, and then we rejected supply once again back into demand zone. And actually, we actually caught this move here, and I'll show you guys why basically I took the trade. Let me delete these. Alright, as you can see, this is basically just a trade off of supply and demand. Let me go on the 15-minute chart and show you something here. Okay. So, we had this demand zone here, and then we had this fake out here, and then we had, all the demand zone, kept bouncing. Let me just extend this over into after hours. This is what you call a sweep low. A sweep of the low, which basically means they do it to trigger stop losses and basically have everyone stop out. So that is why when a zone like this, looks like it's gonna break, I always tell everyone I suggest using the 5 minute or 15-minute chart or the 30-minute chart while looking at this, because if you're looking at this at a smaller time frame, you're gonna think that the zone actually broke. But if you look at it like for example on the 30-minute chart, you can see that we wicked up and then we just started bouncing off the zone once again, and this was just a sweep of the low to trigger stop losses before the push up. Actually, this is actually a really nice example because I recently covered a class talking about this how they sweep lows and sweep highs to trigger stop losses, and this is a pretty good example of them doing so. So once we started basically ranging, in this little zone here, I wanted to test here at this 37.75 level after we were bouncing from these levels. However, we were just choppy. We weren't getting there, and we were just coming back into demand, chopping, getting back into demand. And that's when I alerted a Twitter play here at 9:15, 3,800 calls for 1A each on SPX calls. So for those who are new to my channel or new to my Twitter, every lotto play that I take is still a high conviction play. It is just that I don't know the timing of the play is going to be exact. So that is why I alerted as a lotto, just because the timing could be a little bit off. Because as you can see, it's hard to predict which candle is actually going to go. But I was expecting a move up to this zone right here, just based off the fact that we swept the low and we bounced off of it and started bouncing off this demand zone I have here, with the bottom being 37.52 and the top of the zone being 37.57. So this 5 point zone I was really looking at for demand. Once we swept the low, we started ranging between it, and then we started an uptrend. And as you guys can see, we absolutely nailed this move and we caught the entire move. And this move went absolutely berserk. It went over, I think it was 350. I was basically telling everyone, as you guys can see here, I was like, I'm not selling until 350. I'm not or 300. And obviously these hit 350 because we did have I had limits in at 3, but they moved so fast that I got filled like at 3.5, 3.6. So moving on to the rest of the day, as you guys can see here, once again we had this little right when you hit the supply, we had this rejection, and once again you got to draw your trends again, something like this. I identify it pretty early on the 1 minute chart because it is easier to once this bounces once, twice, I draw it. Once, twice, touch here, I draw it. we get this break of this channel here, as you guys can see, and this would be a retest of the EMAs, and you could take it all the way back into the demand, which, it was a really nice play. Also, this was a bigger trend like this, as you guys can see here, something like this. If you wanted to take this, I had like this, like that drawn out as well. So this was once again, this is the same channel that I was talking about at the beginning. It's just a trend within a trend. Same setup. This is bearish and this is bearish too, and you could take it back down to demand. So premiums didn't move as well today, so it was a little bit risky. However, supply and demand, as you can see, I'm gonna show the 5-minute chart. Really nice today. Almost literally no flaws with supply and demand. We literally bounced off this 37.52 level all day, and then we pushed up all the way to 37.90, which I'll show that here. So we started before power hour started. We were in this demand zone again, and then we just started ripping basically how we did last time. We had a mini flag here to the upside, and then I wasn't sure if this is gonna break out or not, but we held the 9 EMA, and we I didn't personally play this, but it was nice to look at. Personally, this wasn't my goal. I was looking at 37.80. When it was at 37.84, I was like, you know what? I think this could push up one more time. Eventually, we did come down and we pushed back into the zone, held this zone nicely at 37.72, and pushed back into my new supply, my previous supply that I already had marked out from earlier, and we got a really nice rejection, and basically we just knifed pretty much all the way through. We knifed under 37.70 all the way down to, once again, 37.52, where we are bouncing from currently. Even as I'm recording this on futures, we're at this demand zone here. So, lesson to be learned here is that this demand zone is really nice. This demand zone held up pretty much all day, and make sure if you do get a fake out on the break of a demand zone, make sure you guys are switching over to the 15 or 30-minute chart to make sure they're not just sweeping a low to trigger your stop losses. They tend to do this a lot. And even this could be like a trigger of the stop loss, or even a stop hunt here. You go long, and then they get absolutely, or you could go short here, and then they trigger your stop loss up here at the supply, and then bring it back down. So that is something that I would be watching for. And if you guys want to take a screenshot of something, this is my supply zones, even going into tomorrow, or supply and demand zones going into tomorrow. If prices push under this zone over futures, I'll draw some zones under 37.50 as well. But this is basically my zones and basically the trades I took and why I took it. It was really nice setups today. However, premiums didn't move, and it was just a little bit choppy until like the end of the day. But I hope this helps, and I'll catch you guys next time.